We're live. Although when the people listen to it, we won't be.
I'm not alive.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm still sort of having, cravings to go south for the winter and, chase down worms occasionally. But I'm doing better. Not a severe case of the bird flu, fortunately.
I think it is. I think you're doomed.
Yep, I'm gonna just sprout some feathers and start laying eggs.
Pretty much, yeah.
Delicious eggs. But yeah, we are the Grumpy Dungeon Masters. I'm Grumpy Dungeon Master Jay, joined by Dan, Christian, and Christopher. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Do you think they have other animal flus out there? I know there's bird flu. There's probably an amphibian flu of some kind, right?
Funny.
AIDS came from monkeys, right?
I have a story about that.
All right, go ahead.
There was back in the day, a few years ago, cases of the swine flu.
Oh, I recall that.
Oh, yeah.
I had a coworker who just suddenly ran out, got up from her desk and ran out screaming, "I have the swine flu."
Okay.
Years ago, and then called in the next day and told our supervisor that she was going to be out for a while because she had the swine flu and she felt terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But then was immediately contradicted because all the people at work that she had Facebook friended were seeing the pictures she was posting from Cancun, New Mexico.
Well, when you get the swine flu, you're required to go to Cancun.
You apparently are prepared to go to
the. That's where you got to go to convalesce, boys.
You convalesce in the beach with all the Mai Tais, but yeah, that was our encounter with the swine flu.
Oh, Lord.
Leaping up, screaming that they have it, and then running out.
I've got the swine flu. I'll see you in Cancun. Yeah. Let's hope that they don't have too many other types of animal flus. Nobody wants the honey badger flu.
I mean, I'll take the honey badger flu.
No, you just be mean and aggressive and hate on everything.
Oh no! Whatever will I do but be the same way I am every other goddamn day of the day? Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. AIDS came from monkeys, right? COVID came from bats. Pigs have a flu. Birds have a flu. I'm sure, there's a cat flu out there, a feline flu. There's a dog flu, probably.
Well, apparently cats could actually.
All right. Pivot, boys.
Yeah. Get out of the studio.
We're glad you're done with whatever nonsensical flu you have.
But I want to know the con saves for all these.
No.
Yeah, ask ChatGPT and get back to us.
Okay, hold on.
Here he goes. You just had to say that, didn't you?
I did.
Well, let's pivot off of this before he gets to that.
Please do.
Let's go back to what we were talking about before we started the podcast, Dan.
So I kickstarted Goodman Games' original adventures reincarnated of their version of Caverns of Thracia, which is a original adventure for by the Judges Guild back in the 70s for AD&D. Pretty hefty product by a guy named Paul Jacquet. Considering I have many of the first edition, AD&D old adventures that you're lucky to get 20 pages out of them. This thing is 72 pages for that time period, which is freaking unheard of. The art is decidedly in appropriately old school black and white, with gridded maps and everything like that.
The cover's amazing.
The cover's amazing. I will say that even just looking through the old original edition of it, which of course have a PDF of it, but also they conveniently, because Goodman Games is cool like that, included a really nice scan of the PDF in the actual book that you purchase of the original. So it has 2 or 3 paragraphs of description in addition to stats for the monsters that you end up running into in this dungeon, and it's just really well laid out, especially for the time period, and especially compared to some of the crap coming out of TSR at the time, which is Like this is kind of like old school third-party stuff that was, how we oftentimes say we're kind of disappointed in whatever WotC officially puts out, but the third-party stuff is really great for the system they made. Same sort of thing here. But so yeah, Goodman Games, I think last year kickstarted Caverns of Thracia, and I think they made like $500,000 worth of Kickstarters.
I kickstarted it.
Yeah, let me double check the numbers here.
Real quick, did you get the DCC or the 5e version of it?
5e.
Okay.
I have nobody I play DCC with, so
yeah, that's right. I went with the DCC, so we've got our bases covered.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It wasn't as much as I thought. It was actually only 84, but some of the earlier ones were up to like $500,000. But it's double what they asked for. They were looking for $40,000 to publish it. They got 84. So at any rate, I already own one of these products. They've been putting them out since about 2016, 2017, maybe. And I have the Temple of Elemental Evil one I got for Christmas a few years back, and it is fantastic. The lack of description that you find in the original Temple of Elemental Evil, I know adds to some of the charm, but I don't want to have to make up a lot of the crap and fill in a lot of blanks if I don't have to, and they fill in the blanks for you. They convert everything to 5e, which is great. Because I think what is the only thing that's even close to Temple of Elemental Evil in a 5e official product is what? What's the product that it's just quote unquote Elemental Evil for 5e? It came out really early. You know which one I'm talking about, right, Waples? Elemental Evil.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is.
Princes of the Apocalypse.
That's it. Yeah.
And I read through that. I purchased that, and I regretted my purchase. It was bad. It was not good at all, and it was supposedly kind of a continuation of it, and it was just kind of meh. And I know they're trying to be nostalgic, but not trying to do the same thing. But it was just, But Goodman Games did a great job converting it. And of course, I again included a high quality scan of the original, and I really enjoyed flipping through it, though I've never actually run it in 5e. I had a great time looking through it. I've never actually even been all the way through Temple of Elemental Evil in AD&D. I mean, I started it, I think, 3 separate times over my life, probably when I was 12, maybe in my early 20s, and again in my 30s, and never got much further into the temple than the first floor. So, never actually completed it, but it was fun.
I played through it when I was in high school.
But yeah, for I think it was $54. I think for Kickstarter, I'm getting a physical copy. Got PDFs. The book is the full book of this thing is twice the size of your average WotC book. So it's like 500 some odd pages. It's thick. It's well bound. It's just a cute little dungeon delve into lost civilization, rich history, pretty well detailed. And it also comes with a level 1 adventure called the Alabaster Tower of Thracia, which is a brand new adventure that basically is the intro to the whole module, which you could probably run this module through like level 10 or something like that. And Grave Robbers of Thracia, which is a DCC level 0 module, and has an entire separate booklet of original art, as well as a DM screen that basically has all the rolls that you need to make for the specific campaign. So anyway, 10 out of 10, great looking product. Can't wait to get my physical copy in my hands. And then I kind of decided to do a deep dive afterwards on Goodman Games, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember backing this last year, and I remember being excited because I have the Temple of Elemental Evil one. Let's see what else they did. And they did a number of games, most of which I haven't played, but I've always wanted to. I've actually played Keep on the Borderlands, and their version is called Into the Borderlands, which includes Keep of the Borderlands and, of course, additional information, complete conversion in the original version. They also did Temple of Elemental Evil, Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, which I've played, which, if spoilers, it's the 4-year-old module at this point, but robots. The Isle of Dread, which I have not played, which I heard is a fantastic hex crawl type thing.
I played the original one.
People who are into old school games loved it. A lot of people who are into modern games not so much, but it'd be interesting to play. Castle Amber, which is a Tom Moldvay series. The Lost City, which is a conversion of B4, The Lost City. And the Dark Tower, which I just looked at, is actually not an official old TSR one. It is a 3-book slip-covered case for 7th level and above, 5e and DCC. and it looks very Egyptian inspired. And it looks quite good, but man, is it pricey! It's over $100.
I know.
But it looks great. And I was like, that's kind of scratching my head. I was like, hey, did they run out of really good modules to convert? And kind of dawned on me that the new starter set of Dungeons and Dragons that comes with 2024 for 2024 is Keep on the Borderlands converted to D&D 2024.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, that would be why Goodman Games probably can't produce and sell it anymore, because it's been taken away from their website. And then I thought, oh, didn't they just repost Expedition of the Barrier Peaks in something recently? Wasn't it in the Infinite Staircase or that other one that had the Lost Caverns of Thracia in it? Which one was that? At any rate, WotC realized that there's actually demand for these products, clearly, and put a stop order on Goodman Games converting. I'm not even actually sure how Goodman Games got the okay to do it. Because they clearly did, because they're reprinting old TSR stuff, or they did until they were told to stop. Because the only stuff that they have on their website, unfortunately, now is the Judges Guild stuff. These two modules that they just reprinted, or they just reincarnated, as it were, the Dark Tower and the Caverns of Thracia are from the Judges Guild. But awesome product if you can find it. We're hoping to run into the Goodman Games guys at GaryCon. We'll probably try to buy a couple of books off of them. But yeah, kind of disappointing to discover that this old school thing that I've been thinking about trying to finish my collection of, now there's so few copies of it that, Keep on the Borderland or Expedition of Barrier Peaks and Into the Borderlands Temple of Elmcleave are running up to like $200-$300 on eBay at this point. So
I think they'll get the license back around again. Probably not for another 10 years or so, but I'm sure it'll come back around again. Yeah, I know.
I mean, the other problem is that like they clearly know what they have and they know their audience. So like the last two that they kickstarted, the Dark Tower and the Caverns of Thracia, you can buy the VTT elements for Roll20, Foundry, or whatever. You can get a PDF and everything like that. PDFs were never officially made available for this 6 conversions of TSR products. I mean, I'm sure you could illegally get them, like somebody actually scanning them, but like they were never available, and obviously you can't get VTT conversions either. Which I would love to play in person, nonstop, and go through one of these modules, but most of my friends don't live close enough to make that really feasible. It's hard enough getting people together on a Friday night virtually. So
I thought that they put the 1E modules up on DM's Guild to get like their book reprints of those.
Oh, you can get 1E versions of them, sure. But there's no VTTs involved, and it's not the full conversion. It's not the 450 extra pages that Goodman Games threw into it.
Right.
With like separate handout books, which I find fantastic. Like there was a couple of old TSR models that did that. Like I want to say Hidden Shrine of Tamashan did that one, where it has a separate handout page. Because I think it was actually for like originally for a tournament for like Gen Con 10 or something like that. Where essentially everybody had to have the exact same product, so essentially everybody had copies, Xerox copies of the same handouts. So whenever they got to a certain point, here's the rolling, the runaway giant stone disc that's going to chase you down like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, that sort of thing. But I appreciate that they have these separate printouts that you can just physically hand people and like, this is what you see, rather than trying to desperately cover what else is on the page as you're trying to flip it over to show people. Which I've definitely learned. I really enjoy having handouts as visual aids for players, even if they're terrible black and white drawings or modern masterpieces. It doesn't matter which, because people just makes the world feel more alive beyond just the description. But yeah, that's where I am on Goodman Games. You guys feel free to chime in on y'all's experience as far as the original Adventures Reincarnated. That is. I got
the Temple of Elemental Evil, and like just like you, I wanted to complete the whole set of those, but I never got around to being able to buy all of those or even run any of them.
Yeah, and now I've waited too long, which sucks. Yeah. I'm hoping they have some stock for sale still at GaryCon, but yeah.
Yeah. like I said, like they seem to be the ones that are pulling back the old modules, and Goodman Games seems to have done a lot of really good stuff in the past as well too. So like,
Yeah, I mean,
overall,
because the biggest thing, the Judges Guild, they did a lot of stuff back in the day, but probably their most famous module thing that they are known for is City State of the Invincible Overlord.
What? I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I don't know this one.
City State of the Invincible Overlord?
Yep.
Okay.
That was something that way back in the day was considered one of the big cities, like way to do cities, like an incredibly detailed city state.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very well regarded amongst old school gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's I don't know if it's a box set or book. Like I see two different covers
But
for it. Okay, that was a box set.
Yeah, they did a kind of a re-release from Necromancer Games in.
Well, there's the one from
2004.
Yeah, there's one from '87 that was Mayfair Games with Gary Gygax.
With an official intro by Gygax. Yeah.
Yeah, they were licensed. They licensed it to Mayfair Games after they kind of stopped publishing it themselves for a little while.
I mean, this looks like a precursor to like Waterdeep box set.
I would love to see. This is what I'm looking at. I was like, man, I would love to see, Goodman Games do their magic on this.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a module or a thing, a product I've been hearing about almost my whole life since I
never
started.
Been able to lay hands on it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's not super cheap.
So Goodman Games, actually, if you look on their website, they actually have some stuff from the Judges Guild that's actually quite nice looking. We got a Judges Guild Deluxe Collector's Edition, Volume 2, The Works of Janelle Jacques, Slipcase Edition, which has all of his works, which is like just the first edition version. And then you have Deluxe, like, leather-bound version of it. And then there's 2 volumes of it. Then there's Citadel of Fire, The Thieves of Fortress Babstigor, Hegel Manor, and then Dark Tower. So they have licenses for a lot of this stuff. I wonder if this Janelle Jacques is still alive and working for them, or just getting
No, Janelle Jacques died last year. I think it was.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Okay,
yeah, because we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, we did talk about it. Okay, that's who that is. Okay.
Yep.
Because on a couple of the games, it was just Jade Hare. I'm guessing she was trying to hide the fact that she's a woman.
Yeah,
which was probably a wise decision.
Yeah. That's right. Jacques in the dungeon. That's right.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that conversation now.
Yeah. I mean, when you change your name, it causes confusion. So.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, all the other issues that could have been back then in the 80s.
She developed Dragon Dice too.
Didn't know that.
I didn't realize that at all. Yeah, Jacques developed Dragon Dice collectible dice for TSR, contributing many stylized dice icons and the cover art. Oh, she did the art as well as the writing for all of these Judges Guild modules too. I did read about that.
Yeah,
dude. She was responsible for work on Quake 2 and Quake 3 Arena. I fucking loved those games. And also the cover of Dragon Mountain. Wow. Yeah, she belongs to the fucking Hall of Fame. She's awesome.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the amount of products.
I remember the Palace of the Vampire Queen. Because remember, I was looking at. We did the ecology of the vampire, and the first vampire to actually appear in Dungeons & Dragons wasn't Strahd. It was actually in the Palace of the Vampire Queen.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I gotta get a copy of that. That's sick.
Yeah, there's so many DCC products I've wanted to get copies of for several years now.
I sent you that thing the other day. That was a while ago. That was their Dungeon Denizens, their monster book.
Yeah. I actually saw it on their website just a second ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Dungeon Denizens. I definitely want a copy of. Yeah, there it is. $70 for a print. That's not too bad. because like I've got multiple DCC books, and the quality is far fucking superior to anything 5e. Like, just the basic book is incredibly well bound, and it's got 3 like tassels so you can separate sections of the book.
They also did a 5e version of Dungeon Denizens, so they did it again where they did both.
Yeah, I
DCC and 5e.
had to hold back from just dropping about $300 into the Judges Guild stuff and the Dungeons Denizens and things like that. I was like, oh, look at all this is nice. I may revisit it and get some PDFs or something. But if I wanted to get Dungeon Denizens, I'm definitely going to see if they can get VTT icons and tokens and stuff.
Yeah,
most of my games are run online these days.
I'm definitely going to be dropping some money here in Tuesday when the new Shadow Dark Kickstarter comes out.
Yeah.
Shadow Dark Kickstarter for their new Curse Scrolls and Western Reaches books, their actual setting, plus a new limited edition cover of the core rulebook.
Yeah, I'll probably have to pick that up too. So I'm supposed to get my regular one signed this trip to GaryCon, so then I'll have to plan another trip to GaryCon to get that one signed.
Oh
no, I have to go back to GaryCon.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you pull well off of the deck of Gygax, I believe you can actually get another pass. So.
Oh well, the pass isn't what it. The pass to get in isn't the expensive part.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, the fucking hotel rooms and everything else for the trip.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
DC,
go ahead.
Really excited. I really hope that we do like a live podcast from the location. I think that would be probably the best idea for us.
Man, finding the time to do that though.
Yeah,
we'll just do it while we're completely delirious from a long game of playing and just see what it turns out to be. Just us mumbling, going, I rolled a hit. I'm like, what are you talking about, Waples? I'm like, I don't know.
He hasn't slept in 2 days.
I think it'll be great. We'll all be insane.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about what we're doing for the podcast of the whether or not we're going to record it before then or not have a pod or whatever we're going to figure out. Because I'm definitely not going to be able to upload it at a normal hour, so because I won't even be home on Monday.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we got time. We got like a week and a half. Plenty of time. So speaking of modules, since that's the topic we're on, I was playing Trivial Pursuit Dungeons and Dragons again the other day, as I tend to do often lately. And one of the questions, the answer for was a module called the Jade Hare. And I had never fucking heard of this module, so I had to go online and look it up.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I even cared about this module is it was brought up. I immediately eBayed it because it was apparently difficult to get a copy of. And yeah, it's incredibly freaking rare. Like I think it's definitely more rare than the Twilight Princess one, not the orange cover one, but just in general. I went on eBay, did research. There have been a total of 2 copies of this thing sold in the last 3 years. There is 1 copy currently listed for $375 or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
And there is actually an even more rare version of it because the version you normally will find doesn't have a cover. Because it wasn't printed with a cover. Generally,
it just came in this box set, didn't it?
No, it's not box set. It was actually it was a mail-in. Like you had to mail in to TSR, I think, to get a copy of it. And there are very few copies of it ever printed, with even fewer copies that actually have the cover. So if you ever see a copy with the cover,
it has a Larry Elmore cover.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got Larry Elmore art for the cover.
That's great. That actually goes back into
what we talked about yesterday.
Earlier. Yeah. It's the cover of the Endless Quest book, Dungeon of Dread, which written by Rose Estes, who's going to be at GaryCon.
Yeah, because we were talking yesterday. We were talking about Rose Estes and the Endless Quest books. You've got a couple. I own a couple of them. But apparently, they just dual used the art.
I mean, it's a little different, Jay. Come on now, look at it.
Oh, is it?
It's mirrored.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
The warlock's on the left instead of the right.
I'm so they totally just palette swapped it.
Yeah.
It's fucking Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but apparently, the fact is that this thing sells for buku amounts of money, and it's 8 pages. Like it's 8 freaking pages, and that's it.
So, yeah. So you said it's a TSR mail order from the Hobby Shop in 1992.
Yeah,
it's available as a giveaway module. So I don't know how, but my friend Steve, who I've talked about many times, who's running an old school pre-war Greyhawk game. This was the first module we started with in as our first level. I kid you not. He put the little village of Dar El Tamya just outside of the Hornwood in Greyhawk, and we ended up actually going through this little adventure, fighting fire beetles and crab centipedes and spiders and goblins, and end up finally actually knocking out the warlock and taking him back to the town, the village for justice and retrieving the Jade Hare. So a bunch of villagers, they figure out what to do with him, and they ended up cutting off his hand for stealing their artifact and then banishing him. So we later found him on the side of the road, basically unable to cast spells because he's missing his hand that he's supposed to cast spells with, and essentially picked him up as a henchman. We're level 12 or 13 now, and he's our henchman back at our frickin' our keep, and like runs the library.
Oh my god! When did you guys start running this again?
2019.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Steve apparently has a physical copy of this that he has had since he was a kid and always wanted to run it. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna kick off this adventure with that. And then we went into Into the Unknown, and then Keep on the Borderlands were the next ones we did.
Okay. Yeah.
But actually he had converted them long before I think Goodman Games had done the same. So like it's it's one of those things where I'm sure he's not the first to do that, converted to a later edition, but it was great because these are all games that we all saw in the store when we were kids, but we didn't have any freaking money. So
hell no.
We're lucky if we had a module between us. Most of everything was just made up because that's what we had.
Yep. Yeah, I had enough money to get rule books. I didn't have enough money to get modules.
I got enough money to get rule books either. My brother did sometimes, but not me. If I got something like that, it'd be for Christmas or a birthday or something.
Yeah. That's what I saved my money for, was to buy the red box or just box sets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love the fact that somebody who actually still has a copy of this thing from way back when. Because it was originally compatible with D&D Basic, aka the red box.
Yeah,
and then I guess he's done his convert. He might be the only person in the world who has converted this to 5e.
Maybe. Hilariously, like Steve always does it. He loves running lots of games for lots of people, and he has run this module and is in the midst of running this series of Greyhawk modules that he's converted to 5e for I think 3 groups, and has been since about 2019, 2020. Some he plays with for like 3 hours a night only online because they're all over the country. Some he tries to play with in person every week. Some, like us, we play once every month if we're lucky. But yeah, he's running the same series of modules, so we get to hear about what other people did in the same situations that we were in. And man, people fuck up so hard.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh my god. And also, I will say that like a lot of the groups that we hear about are like, man, have you guys ever heard of teamwork or like party balance or anything? Nope, guess not. Just do your thing.
It's this Adventures League.
I'm serious. A lot of it sounds like it. And sometimes it's like the super veteran players. They're just fucking around and being weird. And then there's like the really new players that he just like. I will say that my friend is the only person that is the biggest nerd in the world, but also so charismatic when he wants to convince somebody to play a game of D&D or some other sort of anything. He can convince anybody. If you're doesn't matter whether you're 15 or 40, he'll be able to convince you. Oh, sure, yeah, that sounds like fun, yeah. And like he'll convince people to show up to his house and play a game, and he'll show them all the things. He'll be really excited about it, and then most people are probably just playing lip service to it and like never plan on going back again. And then 5 years later, they're still playing D&D. But like, am I wrong about this here, Christian? You know him well enough.
No, not at all.
He is seriously the only. Yeah. He's like the most charismatic nerd you ever met.
I've
when
met
it comes
him.
To this.
I don't know him nearly as well as you two do, but I've met him a number of times from LARP, and he's very friendly guy, very nice. I could see that. I could.
It's just he's genuine in his enthusiasm, and his desire to share that magic with you, and that's what makes it is that he is very genuine. He really loves this stuff, and he really wants you to have a good time doing this with him. And he goes out of his way to try to really put on an excellent game, run an excellent game.
I love the idea of multiple groups playing the same modules and just seeing.
He's done that for years with different systems too.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? Aberrant was the one he ran for a while, and then Evernight, which was sort of a
Savage Worlds one that we ran.
Oh, okay, Seven Worlds.
Savage Worlds. Yeah.
And then Aberrant was the weird mythological one, I think, or something. I don't remember.
No, that was Scion. Aberrant was
that was Scion. Oh yeah, Aberrant was the weird superhero one. Okay, yeah. Same system, but different game.
Yeah, very White Wolf, but fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I looked up on DM's Guild, the Jade Hare, to see if I could purchase it there, and you can. You can get a PDF. It's only $1.19.
Yeah, I mean, it originally cost $3.95, so that works out.
Yeah,
but there is a small description of what the module is, but then it has something that I don't normally see on DM's Guild products, where it has product history and origins of the product. And I feel like we didn't cover those, did we?
Not really. No.
No. Because I know you said it was a Maryland exclusive, and they mentioned that. And we talked about the cover and how it was basically also used for the Dungeon of Dragon in 1982.
Yeah, the Endless Quest.
So here's a couple other things that it says here. The Black Box new easy to master Dungeons and Dragons game in 1991 was the heart of basic D&D adventures in the 90s, and it was supported by two lines: a series of box adventure packs and a short 16-page Thunder Rift adventure modules. The Jade Hare is neither of these, but it's most similar to the Thunder Rift adventures, with a simple focus on short content. But it's set in the known world of it's set in the known world, whatever that is, instead of Thunder Rift. And then it says Origins 3, and this is more interesting, where it says a trademark is needed. So why would TSR produce such a limited edition adventure module? Certainly, it could have been intended as a bit of marketing to introduce new fans of the Black Box at a mail-order hobby shop, creating a relationship between new players and TSR, since the Black Box sold 500,000 copies in 6 years. This would have been very important outreach. However, those rare covers of the Jade Hare included an interesting line of text not found inside the actual module. The text states, "A Dragon Master game adventure." At the time, TSR was creating trademarks by adding the word dragon to normal words. Thus, the Black Box rules featured dragon cards, while TSR had also released a new D&D introduction game called Dragon Quest. A very small release of Jade Hare modules might have been enough to convince a trademark examiner that Dragon Master had been used in a commercial release. The next year, when TSR released their next introductory game, Dragon Strike, my favorite, it called the referee a Dragon Master rather than a Dungeon Master, paying out the introduction of the new trademark in the Jade Hare, not that it would ever be used again. So it definitely feels like they were trying to grab a bunch of things around this point in time, and we're just taking stabs in the dark to kind of keep things going.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm curious about, because you mentioned it multiple times in that conversation right there, was the black box.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I know the black box as the 4th set. That's the Masters edition.
No. There was a black box
and
that
that's
was
that's what I was going to ask about. Is there some other black box I am not aware of?
Yes. Yeah, there was a black box that was like a reintroduction of almost basic D&D, but it was like it was like basic plus.
Yeah, I think I know
Is the
what.
best way.
I think I remember it. I don't remember. Oh man,
is the best way to describe it. It was like basic, but it had some of like it had pieces of AD&D like into it. So it was a weird release.
Yeah, it's just you talk to old school D&D folk like myself, and black box means something very, very different. But one other thing I found real quick, in 2018, a covered version of the Jade Hare sold for $18,600.
What?
So it's almost worth as much as the Twilight Prince, the rare version of the Twilight Princess.
How much?
18,600. It's
Holy shit.
there are estimated to be 5 copies in existence.
What?
Which puts it in league with the Twilight Princess orange cover,
my God.
of which there were known to be less than 100 that were ever made, and way less than that survived.
That's crazy.
Part of the mail order exclusive part that you guys kind of covered, it also adds here that it appears that some booklets were given away freely with purchase, while others were sent in exchange for a coupon, included with some printings of the new easy to master Dungeons and Dragons game.
Yep, that was the black box. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The price of $3.95 of the cover indicates that TSR thought about selling it as well, but the rarity of the cover suggests that it didn't happen. The author is a freelance author, John Nephew. He's responsible for several known world adventures in the early 90s, including PC1, Tall Tales of the Wee Folk, DDA1, Arena of Thyatis, I guess, DDA2, Legions of Thyatis, HR1, Sons of Azka, and DDA4, A Die Marked Dread. Yeah, I guess. You can find most of those actually on DM Scale too if you want to reprint them out.
Not the same. Not the same.
It isn't the same, but at least they still have these as PDFs somewhere that you can buy. You know, and like
yeah,
dead internet theory aside, and having like all these things lost to time, at least we have a place that we can spend $2 to get it. I bought the Jade Hare because it's only $2. Actually, it's $1.50. So
I'm always ecstatic that they have PDFs of this stuff on that website. Will I buy them? No, but I want them there. I want them to exist. I want people to be able to get access to these things for cheap. You know, if you're not the crazy ass collector that like me and Dan and some of us are.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not exactly minimalist, but I lean towards every few years I shed things.
I
don't really shed D&D things or role-playing things.
Not
yet.
Stuff, but yeah, books I'm not purging at all. But
no, I'm definitely expanding on that front. I need to get me another book.
You never know when one of my books is going to be worth $18,000 for my son to go to college. So
it's 18,600.
Okay, yeah.
You need to check with Steve, see if he had the covered copy.
I'm guessing not. I'm pretty sure it came with that set or something like that.
Yeah.
At least that's what he had mentioned whenever he ran it for us. But that's great. That's really cool.
Just something else to keep a lookout for.
Oh yeah, and I think for Christmas in 2021, I actually got him a carved Jade Hare as a tchotchke for his.
Oh my God!
Yeah. So you can find a picture of it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So did anyone else have any other topics they wanted to bring up before I go into Sooty Beards?
No, go into Sooty Beards so we can make sure we get to that.
Okay. I have not had a chance to read the entirety of it, and there's a good bit here. Let's see. I don't know how many pages is this thing.
Well, tell us what Sooty Beards is. Give everyone the premise of this game.
All right. So last year we talked about a game called Bridgetown that was based on the Troika system, which none of us are very familiar with at this point. But Sooty Beards is the follow-up by the same people. It's written by Furtive, Goblin, and John Gregory. And didn't we talk to them on the podcast at one point? I swear we did.
Yeah, we talked to one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I think we talked to Furtive Goblin.
Yep.
So what Sooty Beards is, like I said, it's their next product, and it's about a city called Vesalberg, Vesallberg, and the entire thing is just about the city, how the city's laid out, and the denizens that live in this crazy ass place. And a long time ago, it used to be like the mining hub of the world. And over the decades and centuries, it's sort of fallen on hard times. And now they're just sort of trying to figure out how to get people to come back to the place. There used to be tens of thousands of people that lived here. Now they're down into the lower thousands numbers. But it's kind of an interesting take. Like Bridgetown it's just humor. It's funny. It's adorable. And this really kind of follows the same lines. The whole thing is just joke upon joke upon joke. Yet you could easily fit it into any of your role-playing worlds if you wanted to use it. Your players could easily go to this place, hang out there for a few adventures, have a good time, and meet some of the crazy people that live there. It's separated into like different groups. You've got the aristocratic families, the miners' union, city hall. Sorry, I'm still coughing. Then you got the out-of-towners and all the other people that live there. And let's see, there was one little section I wanted to kind of take a poke at. I just have to scroll down to it, of some of the things that actually live in the city besides the people. Where are you? I had it pulled up and then I scrolled up and now I've lost it.
I bet you it's that bird flu again getting to you.
Oddly enough, the thing I wanted to talk about is it's a section called "What Else Lives Here," and it's talking about the coal jar canaries. A quote from the coal jar canaries is, "Fuck off, shite beard. I ain't making a peep if you don't got the goods." Imagine a perfectly ordinary bird. Now give that bird a cataclysmically foul mouth, an alcohol dependency, and nothing but spite and venom for all the gods' creations. Add in rudimentary tool use and an almost insidious degree of local knowledge, and you have a coal jar canary.
Yeah, no, I think they're like pitch line here for it, because this is their thing is, okay, what is Sooty Beards? It's a setting zine about a fantasy dwarf hold crossed with a decaying American coal town.
Yeah, that's very, very accurate. Real quick on the canaries, their special attack, Chris, you'll appreciate this. Once per round, while airborne, a coal jar canary may evacuate its cloaca at one person. The target must test their luck or be blinded until they take 2 actions to wipe their eyes clean. Additionally, coal jar canaries are dependent upon alcohol to function in day-to-day life. I love it. They're alcoholic birds that will poop on you.
Well,
I mean, yeah, what did you expect?
Yeah. There's this section about some of the different drinks that you can buy there. The Flask of Hell Hog. The average of homebrewed pig kicker can put a boar on its ass with a sniff, and a dwarf blessedly inebriated with a shot. Hell Hog is what's left when you triple distill Pig Kicker and age it to let the angels take their share. So if you're looking,
that's a term in brewing, isn't it?
probably.
Oh, that key to memory.
Which part? Pig Kicker?
No, angels taking their share.
Oh, it may be. Yeah, as somebody who's never brewed, not really much of a drinker, I have no clue, but it sounded good. So yeah, if people are looking for any sort of a setting to be a little lighthearted and just have a little fun, you could insert this into any role playing campaign. If you're actually running the Troika system, it's got all the stats and everything that you just use. But it wouldn't be that hard to actually convert most of this to D&D or any other game.
Yeah, okay, so the angel's share is the amount of alcohol that evaporates during the aging process. You can see the dramatic different levels of whiskey and the various aged barrels in a picture that this thing linked to. And I have it in our podcast chat in our Discord. But essentially, picture 4 barrels of the same kind of whiskey. And like one is 2/3 full, the other's half full, another one's below half, and the other one is like a third full. It's the same whiskey aged for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's getting darker and darker and darker. And so the evaporated
that 20
space.
years, that's where that 15, 20, 10, that's where it gets good.
Yeah, we could have asked our buddy Bruce the Beer Bandit. I'm sure he would have known all of this.
Of course he would have. Because he's a coal mining canary.
Yeah. Yeah, he's from Vesselberg, apparently.
Yeah, and he's got to live off alcohol every single day, and he will poop on you as a defensive mechanism. So
yeah. But yeah, like Bridgetown, it was pretty cheap. I think I got a physical copy for like $30 or $35. And
it was less than that. It was like 10 because they're all because
the physical copy. It wasn't it wasn't expensive. It wasn't any more than $30. I don't think. I'll probably end up getting a physical copy of this one too. I don't know if they have copies of it yet, but let's see. What's the I gotta, I didn't say the company name. Assuming I can even find that.
Yeah. Give them a.
Oh yeah, I definitely would like to give them a shout out. I don't see a company name listed on the book, but you can look up Furtive, Goblin, and John Gregory, and it'd definitely be able to locate it that way. So if anyone wants a copy, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, what else we got? Did you guys talk about the VTT last week when I was gone?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
What VTT?
Yeah. Oh, is that what the thoughts were on it?
It's what they fucking thought of it because they didn't fucking release it to anything.
Yeah,
I've seen one video about it from a third-party guy who's trying to break into it. His YouTube channel is called Bonus Action. He started about a year or so ago. He's got a lot of good stuff on it. And he actually sat down and played and used the VTT. And I would assume that he, tried it out a lot because, the video was like an hour long and everything. But that's how much interest I have in it. I didn't even click on this video. Like
a couple other guys that do D&D podcasts also brought it up and mentioned it. That also mentioned that, this thing just sort of got released with zero fanfare, no real, advertising campaign, no real, anything to try to get people to use it. Just sort of like, hey, it's here now, by the way.
Yeah, I don't even know if you guys looked, but the title of our last episode was Dungeons and Dragons Sigil releases to no fanfare.
Yeah,
that's actually the title.
That's about right.
So I spent about an hour playing with it. I actually like it. It was very clean. It was very smooth, very easy to use.
There's a lot of things to like about it. Sure.
Mind you, I don't play online, but if I did, I would use something like that.
I mean, we kind of went over this last week, but I
don't want to dive too far into this.
My complaints with it, just to recap, is it looks too much like circa 2000 Neverwinter Nights, for me.
Yeah, which I
And
liked.
which I liked, but it also feels like I'm trying to. If I were to try to be building something like this, I'd be trying to create a module in Neverwinter Nights, which I love playing Neverwinter Nights. I loved it back 25 years ago, but I don't want to actually be doing that. It seems like way too much work for the encounters you're going to be making in it.
So here's the thing, and I don't know if they have this planned. I sure should hope they do, but I haven't looked that far into it. If somebody like myself can build modules on this thing, if I can just build a map, will I be able to upload this for everybody else to have access to it? Will I be able to sell this and maybe make a little money on the side?
Probably not, because the homebrew stuff that you can put on D&D Beyond is available to everyone for free, but they rip shit down. Like I on D&D Beyond, I basically put up all the my Beholder, my Krampus, my Santa Claus. I put all those monsters because they were unique to my modules up online, and they took them all down and claimed that they were
copyright infringement,
copyrighted for my own modules. So they don't really, they police things, and if it's like anything that's similar to somebody else's stuff, they just rip it away and say you can't use that.
Yeah, but with the VTT, they already have everything in their system that you could use for the most part.
But you can't sell maps and stuff like that.
And that was sort of my thought on this is, and maybe if not selling it, at least be able to just put it up. If I want to spend 20 hours putting together one badass dungeon and just throw it out there for the world, would I be able to do that?
They don't have anything like that on D&D Beyond yet.
And that would be the smart thing for them to do.
Yeah, because then you could get other people that are willing to put in the work and share a dungeon. It would help DMs everywhere if, hey, I'm going to put together this kind of dungeon. I'll put it out there that anybody can go in and grab my work that I've already done and use it. At the same time, I can look for other people that have thrown out their creations out there, and it kind of gives you easy content to make things easier for the DM, which is what they should be doing, because DMs are the people that spend money. By and large, those of us that are running the games are the ones that are spending most of the money on there. So things that benefit the DM would behoove them to do that.
Because truthfully, that is something I would actually do. Because you guys know me, I play a shitload of like crafting survival games. I love building things inside video games. And just to be able to sit there and build a dungeon, if I could share it with the world, I would do that. And they would get a free product already done that they didn't have to do anything for.
I mean, part of that's Roll20's business model is selling the VTTs and everything already set up, for people to use. I buy a lot of the icons for monsters that I use is one very particular artist on Roll20, who I kind of, he has like kind of like realistic, kind of like old school style, monsters that he uses, and I like using his monsters a lot. And he goes through, and every book that comes out, he draws all the monsters and makes tokens for them, and I can easily just save them from Roll20 and import them into Foundry. So, I mean, he makes $5 off of me every book. He does a bunch of other monsters too. I probably spent $200 on this guy's stuff. And it's always been a shame that D&D Beyond hasn't done that, and they've gotten a little bit better with the third-party stuff, but I don't see them implementing anything like a store like that, because
it's just they've always claimed they like money, and they always try to nickel and dime you, but they don't actually know how to profit off of stuff like this.
Well, I kind of feel like Hasbro doesn't think that us as the consumers know how to do anything.
Yeah, it's
like they actually really want D&D Beyond to be a curated experience. They don't want just everything out in the wild, though I guess for homebrew that stuff is just sort of when you toggle that on. And from having looked through the homebrew for some of the stuff in there, I could maybe understand, because good lord, is there some
like time wizards?
There's some not high quality stuff, and some people that are either just on power trips or don't understand that the balance of the game, or
Yeah.
there's a lot of chaff that you have to sort through.
Oh yeah, but if you could separate it by homebrew versus official, then it's not that big of a deal. For
And
those
that's
of
true
us
on
like me who just want the official stuff, then
yeah, and that's the true on Roll22 in our marketplace. There's definitely an amount of chaff that you have to just sort of like get through, and I usually do. I've found certain creators that I have found to be high quality, and I'll just look for their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't want to spend the time to police that, and I can kind of understand that. But at the same time, too, it's like, I mean, at least I have that option available to me.
Yep.
I'd rather have it than not. And when I find someone that I like, then I'll just make sure to keep buying their stuff. But I don't know. WotC or Hasbro just doesn't seem to care half the time. It's just how I feel.
nope. It's why they've been losing money, it seems, hand over fist. But who knows? All right. Anything else we got going on this week?
Dog bit me.
Dog bit you. All right.
Still going through all my old school stuff to get signed and hoping I can actually
I gotta
pop out of games to make it happen.
I gotta start doing that this week. Figure out what to take in my bag and what not to take.
I dare say I'm bringing more things to get signed and things to game with than I am actually like clothing and things I might need. Stuff
you don't have to change clothes. You're only going to be there for like 4 days.
Oh,
I mean, I'll still smell better than most people, so it's fine.
Yep.
I'm traveling light.
I really hope this con isn't like every other con that I've been to. I hope these people. Well, they're definitely going to have an old man smell to them, but I hope that's about it. I'd be really afraid if they're also not showering like your standard anime fan.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, let's hope that's not the case. But hey, just take a can of Axe body spray with you and hit everybody who didn't shower. That way we can all suffer.
Great idea.
Yeah. Not only will we be smelling terrible people who didn't shower, but we'll also be smelling Axe body spray, which nobody wants to smell.
No one does.
Yeah, I don't know what party you're going to. I don't want to go to that one.
No, I definitely don't either. All right, well, I guess that's it for this week. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye, Craig.
Bye.